Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's session. Um, the lasting impact of the Welcome Experience to your organization and the community. My name is Sydney, and I'm from the PHN Education team. I'm joined today by my colleague Natalie McLeod. She's just joined the PHN, so a big welcome to her. Katrina Keeley, local connector for Muswellbrook Shire Council, and Fiona Kennedy, local connector for Moree Plains. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we all work on. For myself on the Central Coast, that is Darkinjin country, and I'd also like to pay respect to all elders past, present, and emerging. Now, a few things to let you know about this session. It will be recorded and available for you to view in our education library, along with a copy of the presentation slides in a few days' time. As attendees, your camera and microphone are automatically disabled. However, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please pop these into the question box, which you will find located within your control panel. These will be answered at the end of the presentation. An evaluation will come to you directly after the session. Your feedback is extremely important as it enables us to provide future education. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker for today, Katrina Keeley.
Good afternoon, everyone. I do apologize. I live quite remotely on Wonnarua land, and we are having enormous technical difficulties today. So I'll probably talk and won't go through much of the slideshow presentation, but I promise you that it will be a really interesting topic to talk about. So I'm here to present about the Welcome Experience today, and the Welcome Experience is a state government initiative which came about over the past few years as they saw a huge push of people moving to regional areas. But in order to support this sort of growth in population, they needed to have the essential services to be able to support the influx in these towns. And so they realised that rather than concentrating on the metro areas, they needed to be able to provide support to people in regional towns who may not have the infrastructure or the facilities or even just the people on hand to be able to support people moving to these areas. And so what they've done is they've created this program, which is called the Welcome Experience. And last year, Muswellbrook Shire Council was one of the pilot locations for this Welcome Experience. And what it is, it supports 5 different agencies. So health, education, police, fire and rescue, and communities and justice. And like last year, they decided that health and education and the non-government agencies really would benefit from this as well. And thanks, Sydney, for the little pop up there in relation to my technical issues. Like I said, it's been interesting this morning. So 5 agencies we're currently supporting, and that means that if you have someone who is a teacher and is wanting to move to, say, Broken Hill, for example, they contact someone like myself called a local connector, and there's currently 52 LGAs across New South Wales that are supporting this Welcome Experience program. And what they do is it's a completely free service. They contact us, so they register online via the New South Wales government website, and they get a phone call from either myself or one of the other connectors in the area, and we help support them. And it could be that they're just interested in basic information about the location in which they're moving to, or it could be that they have a job that they're going to and they need, information in relation to a school, what's a better area to live into, is there, a sporting club in which their son can attend to the level that he's at. So it's a really varied program. It's completely bespoke, and the great thing is it is completely free. And so while our focus in the last year has been really about bringing essential workers into these regions and supporting them, the thing that we're really working on this time around is actually supporting the agencies and the private businesses. So in lieu of the fact that, obviously if you're a large organization like the Department of Health, for example, you have a very large inbuilt human resources team, which can provide a lot of assistance. But if you're looking at a sort of a smaller business, maybe you're a small, doctor's surgery, for example, and you're flat out as a practice manager, working to support your staff and try and onboard and all this sort of the general day-to-day things that obviously would take up someone's time, having to then onboard someone and then get them settled into the community can be, quite challenging, quite onerous. You already have your hands full, and then you're having to really support someone sort of emotionally as well with, moving. And so this is where we come in to assist you. And this is what I absolutely love about the program. So to give you an example, I'm currently supporting 2 doctors that have moved recently from Iran. was contacted by one of the doctors, one of the owners of the surgery, who was looking for additional support. And I said, great, not a problem. Leave it with me. I'll keep you up to date with, occasional emails. But other than that, you focus on doing everything that you need to do in relation to just running your day-to-day surgery. I'll help get them here. I'll help support them, and then we'll take it from there. So I've been working really hard in the last about a month now, actually. They've arrived from Iran now, helping them sort of seek appropriate accommodation. I've, provided them with assistance in relation to temporary accommodation. Uh, Organised an event where they got to meet other essential healthcare workers, so other doctors from other agencies, the community health nurse, the community health staff, and also some paramedics that have also recently moved to town. So it's really about supporting them holistically. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this lunch and learn today was really get it out to the community, that we're here for you. I call it sort of help at the end of a speed dial. So, for example, if you have someone who's looking for a role locally and they're potentially unsure and you don't have the bandwidth to be able to support them because they want to ask 1,000 questions about the town, literally either give us a phone call, introduce us, or just give them, one of the local connectors numbers. And we're happy to assist. So I found that in the last year especially, I would often potentially say an agency wasn't quite sure whether or not this candidate was serious about, moving to the town. They had some concerns. I would have a conversation. They would then call me back and say, what did you think? Do you think they're going to make a go of it? Because obviously retention is a real issue in regional towns. And so it's a lot of bandwidth to get someone to move here for them to potentially not stay for longer than a few months. So it's kind of weeding out the ones that, as we call, tire kickers, and ensuring that we have the right fit for our region. So I help on the end of a speed dial. So we also help you. So say if you have some vacancies coming up, what we do in that area is we have access to a database of people that have registered their interest. And we got a lot of people who may not be eligible at that point in time, but going through the list, they stay on our database. We can always scour and say, actually, we do have a physio that showed some interest, or we have a radiographer, or we have a collections person that might be interested. So there's a whole raft of people that we can also rely on to go back and connect with. As I said, everything to do with onboarding. So we look after life onboarding for you. It is at zero cost to you. Absolutely 100%. There's no cost to the agency or to you ever, which again is such an amazing thing. And the other thing I'd like to point out with this program as well is it's unique in that in this day and age, especially, everything is automated. We ring up the bank, we ring up a telco, we're on hold for 50 plus minutes, we tell our story, someone types it out, we get disconnected or something like that, and then we have to go back and do the whole story. The reality with this program is there's either one or two local connectors in each region that's been chosen. It's the same person from where to go. So they're not having to repeat the story. You're not having to repeat your story because you have one of us there to support you through that whole journey, which is such a unique experience in this day and age, and one of the real, I think, key benefits of this program, because it really allows you to really hone in on what you need to develop a relationship with a local connector in your area, so that they know, that they have your back. They understand your practice, your needs. Each practice works very differently and has different requirements. What we've found with the program is some people need a lot of support. So we will get some people who are really nervous about making a move, think, I guess concerned that they're not going to fit into the community, really don't know where to start. And so some need a lot of hand holding. But what we've found as well is, generally speaking, within around the 3-month mark, we have a really good indication as to, people's longevity within the community. So I'm really upset. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do my presentation today. It's very frustrating. I have some great photos to share with you a little bit later. But some of the other things that we do is we help connect you with if you're looking for grants that are going in the community, you'll often find that local connectors are the go-to people who know pretty much what's going on in all sorts of areas. So if you're wanting to, arrange an event or some kind of tourism opportunity, maybe you have a whole 4 new staff coming on and you want to roll out the red carpet, and we can help assist with that. So local connectors provide assistance sort of around events, around tourism opportunities. It's again really bespoke and offers so many different things. Now today, while I try and sort out my PowerPoint, I have joining me is Fiona Kennedy from Moree Plains Shire Council. Moree Plains, it's great to have another council on board actually, because Muswellbrook Shire Council has been the only council that have been running the program for the last year. And Fiona's new to the area, but has an enormous amount of experience in economic development in her town. And I'll just throw over to Fiona now, and she can give a bit of a brief overview of what they're going to be doing in their area.
Thanks, Katrina. Appreciate the little intro there. So, as Katrina said, I'm Fiona. I am the local connector for the Moree Plains, beautiful Kamilaroi land out here. So yeah, it's a really exciting role, and very much look forward to working with people and helping to sort of bring them out here. As Katrina sort of mentioned. A big key part of what we can do is sort of the 4 stages. So we were talking the terminology of prepare, attract, and then welcome and stay. And that prepare phase can be really important. So as Katrina said, if you've got someone that's looking, that's thinking potentially about moving, obviously there's so many fabulous opportunities in regional New South Wales at the moment. That's where we can really step in and hopefully say, look, this is what our regions are this is what our region's about, this is what life's like out here. We can tell them give them honest lived experience. And I think that is so important nowadays. As Katrina said, it's about that retention, that long term. So if we put the work in it, that preparing, getting them to decide to move out here, we can then do the rest of the work when they actually make the move. They know what they're coming to, so they're aware. If they're coming to a regional town, what services are available, what shops are available, what's the largest sort of how far away the next major town is, and those sort of things are really important. I mean, I get a lot of phone calls anyway, and talk to some people, and people are really surprised that just to hear the connections that you can have regionally. For example, for us here in Moree Plains, we can fly daily to Sydney, things like that. So it doesn't need to be, we're not all completely out in the sticks with nothing around us. But definitely that preparation, I think, is so important to support. To support organisations. As Katrina said, yep, it's a free initiative. So it's absolutely wonderful to. We're here to be utilised in the right way. And all of us, we really enjoy helping people. At the moment, I've got a really lovely family that have just relocated interstate, and even little things like, because they've moved interstate, changing their pet regos and things like that. Like, that's all little things that someone might not necessarily think of, and they're little things actually we can have in conversations, just reminders, just to make the process easier, changing license plates, all that sort of stuff. I know for me, in sort of experience with some of the people I've been helping, a lot of them, if they've come from overseas, or if they have moved sort of interstate, they might, and they're looking then for accommodation, they might not necessarily have that rental history, especially if they've been in a role that has provided accommodation. And I know for us here locally with our local real estates, they're often sort of screened by an AI, bot before it even gets to see the actual person. So when someone applies for a rental application, if you haven't necessarily got that rental history, you can almost be cut out before you've even had a chance to speak to anyone. So that's where we can come in, and actually, we've got these really strong key relationships with sort of, I would say, supporting agencies, you know, on the ground. So we can say, look, actually, we've got this, you know, we've got a family moving. This is what they're after. Yes, they don't technically have rental history because they've been given accommodation, you know, with their previous job, or they're coming from overseas. You know, the professionals coming for work, and help to get them in. So actually, yeah, I housed a family last week that had that exact situation. They just didn't have that history, and therefore weren't even their application wasn't even getting through. So I think it's really key. We can offer that support, and the services, as Katrina said, it's really bespoke, it's really tailored. It's very much down to we're very guided by the individuals that we're helping. You know, how much support they need, and some people might be fairly self-sufficient. Some people might want sort of more support. I think it's also worth pointing out that it's the program is also sort of allowing us to help, certainly for like Moree Plains, which is a location that's just come online. We're also allowed to help those that have just moved. So if you guys know of anyone that has also, you know, has moved in the last couple of months, and may still, you know, would appreciate a little bit of help settling, or that sort of additional support, they can certainly reach out to us. There's no wrong door to get to us. They can reach out directly to the connectors. I'm sure Katrina, I think maybe we've now got the presentation back up and going, but we'll show the website. There's obviously the website there with the registrations. So that can come through. They can select the areas that they're looking. But yeah, there's no wrong door. Otherwise, like I said, they can come direct to us. How is the
Thank
presentation
you.
going, Katrina?
We'll do our best, won't we? We'll soldier on. I think, thanks, Fiona, for all that background on what's happening in Moree. And I'm very excited that we have lots of other local connectors that we can reach out into other areas, because it's such a collaborative program, and it's really fortifying the different connections that we have in a lot of regional towns that we might have been in silos. And now what I've found especially is someone might come to me and say, hey, you know, this is my role and I'm potentially looking to move. It's like, okay, what kind of area? And then we do definitely connect in with the other local connectors. And so, you know, for example, you know, the primary health networks up in, you know, Tamworth area, and we've just got someone now in Tamworth. So being able to, you know, check in with each other or check in with Moree or other areas is just so beneficial. And we, you know, we all definitely benefit from this. Hoping my slideshow works, so let me know if it's not actually changing. I've just pulled a bit of stats from the last year, which was what Regional New South Wales had pulled from our Welcome Experience program. And you'll see some of those numbers at the bottom. You know, it's sort of nearly 1,800 essential workers. Now, this program wasn't really well advertised. They did one advertising campaign, and the rest of it was people like myself on the ground working with agencies to try and promote this great initiative. But you can see that, you know, they're fairly decent numbers, and these people would have otherwise, you know, slipped through the gaps, may have moved to the areas, not connected with anyone, felt that perhaps, you know, regional life wasn't for them, and then returned back home. And so by having a program like this, which is a fairly loose framework, allows a lot of fluidity and a lot of opportunity to really be able to, as we keep using the word bespoke, but it really is that. And there isn't any other program like this. It's so unique. And this is why I say, when I have gone and door knocked and met with doctors and, you know, physios and allied health workers, is take advantage of us. Like, first and foremost, it's to make your life easier. We want to build these regional towns. You know, some areas are absolutely critical in terms of getting staff. It's been a huge challenge. Even working with government agencies, you know, they're finding it really hard to retain staff. There's a lot of agency workers, for example. We have an influx of people from overseas, but then it can take a while for them to get accredited as well. And there's certain caveats around, you know, where they can't work, or for how long as well. So looking at these numbers here, you can see all the interactions that they've had has really made a huge difference to local communities. And the fact that when they've, you know, refer back to essential workers, and you can see here 72% agreed that it's met their needs, which, I mean, that's a win for all of us. So I've mentioned here some of the challenges, and I'm hoping everyone can see these. They've got these incentives schemes, and this is really more specific to government agencies, but each individual business may have their own. You know, you might offer, say, several months free accommodation, or there might be a bonus for working there for a year. And even sort of additional pay isn't what is drawing people. It's still a challenge. We're still finding it really hard to find the workers that we need. A lot of people are concerned when they move to regional areas that they're actually going to not be able to grow their current skill base. One of the government agencies went overseas recruiting last year, and I helped them with a deck that did work that time, I might add. But the general consensus was that they didn't want to move. They were happy to move to the metro areas, but they didn't want to move to the regional towns because, as you can see here, they thought that they were going to lose their skill base. And what we are trying to work hard in doing, and working with government agencies and working with private enterprises, is getting them to change their comms so that people understand, move to regional areas. You're actually going to upskill because they'll be wearing lots of different hats. There's way more opportunity for growth, for additional training, often by moving to regional areas rather than being, you know, the small fish in the big pond. You're the big fish in the small pond, basically. Some of the other challenges are loss of current lifestyle and access to services. So for people like sort of Fiona and I are finding as well, especially, is while the program supports, you know, Coffs Harbour and Bega and, you know, areas along the coast, it's a lot harder to recruit inland. And people are concerned as to see current, you know, lifestyle. Is it going to be the same? So it's really addressing what people's needs are. Yes, you will have to make certain sacrifices, if you want to call it that, but other things are going to replace that. So while you might not have access to, you know, the latest fashions, or, you know, there won't be, you know, Amazon Prime doing same day delivery here, there's so many other opportunities that don't present themselves in metro areas. Shortage of childcare places is another reason where people often are challenged with moving to the areas. Maybe they want to move to a town, but if they can't get their children in, for example, then they can't go to work. And so that's lost revenue for these towns as well. And the big key one at the moment with many areas is, you know, and this is in metro areas as well, is the rental housing options. As Fiona said, having relationships with real estate agents is really important. One of the key areas that I focus on, and that's made a huge difference. As Fiona said, you know, a lot of people come with zero rental history in Australia, and bots pick it up, the application gets rejected. And so us having these relationships with real estate agents means that I go in, they know who I am, and I'll introduce them to, say, a new doctor, or, you know, a physio or a dentist that's moved here, and say, this is what they're doing. They're part of this program. We absolutely, you know, need them here, obviously, and whatever they can do to support it. And I sort of help facilitate that process from where to go. And obviously, why we can't vouch for, you know, whether they're going to be great tenants or not, generally speaking, you know, with someone obviously who's working in those areas, you know, they've obviously gotten to a certain level, so we can pretty much guarantee that they are, you know, they are obviously going to be responsible and respectful. So again, if that service, our service, wasn't available, they'd be lost in the system. And to give you a honest example of how that did work, we had a paramedic that moved to our area, and he was rejected 20 times. And unfortunately, he came to me after the fact, when he finally found somewhere, because he hadn't heard about my program at that point. And I spoke to him about his experience, because obviously I was quite embarrassed. You know, it's not a great experience for someone moving to our area, and it, you know, puts a bad taste in anyone's mouth that that would be their experience. And I spoke to him about it. He had ex-Defence Force. He lived in Defence Force housing and had his own property, so had a mortgage. But that bot, that computer generated system, was kicking him out. And so he wasn't even getting a look in because he didn't have a recent, you know, rental history. And so I sort of basically went around to all the estate agents again in our area and spoke about we need to be mindful of this because this is happening and we will lose key people to our area. So there's some real challenges in people moving to our area. Some of the wins, now it's important to celebrate the wins, and these are just some local ones, but to give you an example, so that was an 11-month period here. So 160 cases, so that's people who are wanting to move to our area. So 30 have settled, they decided to up and leave where they were living and move to Muswellbrook and surrounds. Across the board, you can see these are some of the occupations. Paramedics is probably a big win for our town because a lot of them used to commute from Newcastle. And after, say, a 10-hour or so shift, and it can be quite harrowing depending what the jobs that they were out on, then they'd have to drive, an hour and a half or so home after a really long shift. It's dangerous for them. It's not good for any other road users as well. But other than that as well, it doesn't really help form a solid sort of working close environment with the station. And so since this program has started, we have seen 12 paramedics move to town. And the station manager said that, this is the largest group that have lived in our area for many years, and it's made a huge impact to the morale, to the understanding of the needs of the town, and really building some camaraderie and connectedness within the agency, which helps build better outcomes for, obviously people in the community as well. So I things like that really make me feel fortunate that there is a program like that, because again, in lieu of not having something like this, you can just see what sort of challenges would present themselves. Not-for-profits and community organisations have benefited. So you may come across someone within your organisation, they're a not-for-profit organisation and they really need additional support. I worked with some agencies over the past year to be able to provide assistance. So as long as we had an essential worker involved in the process, I was able to support them. So to give an example, dementia carers support group was started in our area. There hadn't been anything like that, and there's quite a few people who provide full-time care for their partners, and without any outlets on which to go, there's no respite in the area. It's problematic, and so I got together with another not-for-profit agency and we'd run a few events to support them, where it just gave them an opportunity to meet, to have lunch, to talk about whatever they wanted to, and feel loved and supported and nurtured by our program. And so it's been really beneficial for community building, for people being aware of other groups that are out there that may not have been on their radar because the community organisations don't have that platform in which to be able to talk about what they're doing. So this program is really being able to, it's really about connectedness, and it's a great benefit of the program. And these are some of the agencies and not-for-profits that we've worked with. Positive media coverage is a really good one for the program. So I try and work with agencies and private businesses. So whether there's a dentist and they're doing some good in the area, I'll do my best to try and give your organisation an opportunity in which to shout out how great you are and obviously how great the program is. Because the more times that we get ourselves out in front of press, whether it's radio or print or even social media, and getting the word out about this program and about the work that you're all doing as well, it just puts us on the radar, especially when it comes to sort of future grants and funding. As I said earlier, we're help on speed dial, so advise us of any vacancies that are going and we'll look at our list and see if there's any way that we can assist or support. Candidate still sitting on the fence, as I said earlier, introduce them to us and we'll take it from there and do our best to convince them to make the move to your town. We've got here focus on onboarding, let us take care of the rest. Honestly, it is really that simple. You organise all the internal paperwork. Katrina, where should they go for dinner? Where should they go for, to get their teeth fixed? One of them has, some issues with their ankle and they need to go to a physio. Honestly, just give it to us. It's that simple. And again, did I mention it was free? Nothing's free, obviously. I mean, it's all come from our taxpayers' dollars, but as it stands, it is a completely free service, and it's certainly worth making the most of it. I think it's obviously about trusting us as well, and that can take some time to build, but please know that we really are advocating for you. We want to make your life easier because we need these people to continue to build our town, and not having these essential workers in our town puts additional pressure on yourself and other people in the same position because you're short-staffed, you have burnout, and it's just not fair. So if we can get the essential workers that we need to help boost morale, to ensure shifts are covered, and hopefully for those of you that are working extra hard to give you a chance to sort of step back a bit and potentially have a holiday, then we're here for it. So this is what we've been up to. So a lot of local community engagement. So this is what we do behind the scenes. So you can see all the different businesses and religious groups and essential services that we try and work with to really bring into the fold. As we see it, this isn't a council program, this isn't a government program, this is an everyone program. Everyone can advocate for this program, and everyone stands to benefit from the program, either directly or indirectly. And so the more that we get the message out and embrace this, the better outcomes that we're going to have. Partner employment. Now, this is a really good one for you as well. So potentially, say you have a new doctor or locum or I don't know, physio or someone in allied health starting with you, maybe disability care or support work, and they've got a partner that's moving to town. We also aim to assist them as well. So in some areas, I've been able to place them into or connect them in with some of the mines in the area. But more than that, I often try and find it if they have a trade. And, some areas there's a shortage of, say, sparkies or, builders. And we talk to them about grants that are available if they want to start their own business. We connect them in with the local business chamber or local business owners. So helping to build the community in other ways. It's quite strategic, but if you've got one person settled and you want to make sure that their partner or their children are settled in whatever way they can, and that's how we aim to assist. Government contacts. Feel free to contact us if you need support in some areas. I know obviously you have the great support of Primary Health Network, but we do liaise with a lot of different, people from local MPs, to chambers of commerce. So we are a great resource in that area. Graduates experience, and this may or may not be applicable to your areas, but for example, rural doctors bush bursary is one area that some of us support, where we have final year students coming and doing placement for 2 weeks, and I pick a vast range of different agencies and private businesses for them to join, to give them a really good overview of what it would be like if they moved to a regional town. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please do reach out and I can give you further information on that. Welcome Pack, they're all sort of starting up, and every location is different, but it's just a welcome kit as to sort of what's happening in the area. And we sort of try and incentivize it. A lot of us give sort of gift cards in which they can spend locally. I do apologise if you can hear my lambs in the background. This is what living on the farm means. They're very hungry at the moment. Giving back, which we spoke of a little bit earlier. So, volunteering days. I volunteered with a group of essential workers late last year for a Christmas toy run that was being held. I had dentists, paramedics, teachers, we had social workers, we had disability and aged care workers come and also volunteer their time to join me in assisting at this toy run. So connecting community is so important to the success of someone staying here and really enjoying where they're living. Events, so you'll see some photos in the next slide. We do a series of events. I try and you'll find a lot of the different other locations will be doing this as well, trying to find things that showcase the best of our region, because it's about tourism, it's about, what they can do on their days off. And so I've run a series of events over the past year and introduced them to different parts of our area, getting them to sort of go out beyond their comfort zone and try something new that they perhaps wouldn't have done in metro areas. And excuse me, as I said earlier, media engagement. So we will be promoting the program through our own different networks. and obviously there's an opportunity to be able to include you in those opportunities as well. And tourism opportunities, which ties in with events, showcasing what we love about our area, the best of our areas, and making people feel like that their move to their regional New South Wales town of choice is going to be the right choice for them, and they're going to feel part of the community, and they're going to be proud of their new life. So I've just got some quick photos here from some different events. We did a pistol shooting workshop, which was fantastic. Most people obviously never, used an air rifle or a handgun before. It was a great experience, got everyone out of their comfort zones. We have a yoga and sound bowl workshop. We had a singles mixer night for Valentine's Day. That was attended by over 30 people, because we found that a lot of people who are new to town were sort of around the 25 to 30 age mark and were single. And if there's not a lot of places to go out at night, especially creating opportunities where they can all come and meet and get to know each other in a fun environment was a really successful night. You've got the toy run in the far corner and the dementia carers workshop. So lots of opportunities for your new staff to come and join in. We run them completely free of charge. Sometimes some of the other groups may have a small token payment, but by and large, the events are put on to ensure that your new employees are given the red carpet treatment and feel really connected in with that community. So what can you do? Some really simple things. Spread the word. Talk to about. We go down to the street, the coffee shop knows about it. So when they're making coffee for someone, oh, I haven't seen you around. What are you doing? Oh, I'm new to town. I've started working as, an assistant in nursing, for example. Oh, okay. Are you part of the welcome experience? No. What's the welcome experience? So on and so forth. And that's how I get a lot of referrals, which is through just word of mouth. And it's really easy, something to talk about, something that you can advocate for. Use collateral, and at the end of this, I'll be sending across some information that you can use. The New South Wales government have provided us with various strips and social media tiles and all sorts of things to add into your job ads. So it is a sort of standardized couple of lines which people are adding to their job ads, and then it clicks them off into the regional New South Wales area, the Welcome Experience program. So I found we do get quite a few referrals that way. Keep us in the loop. So if there's any events that you have going or any roundtable meetings, events like this where, we get an opportunity to be front and center in front of as many people as possible, please bring us along for the ride. We'll more than happily support you because, like I said, if you win, we win, the community wins. So we do whatever we can to help. And really, if you, like we said earlier, collaborating with agencies, businesses and chambers. If you need to get in front of a chamber of commerce and perhaps don't know who to reach out to, give us a call and we'll try and make introductions and make your life a lot easier. And here is the link that we got to in the end. I do apologize for my earlier issues, but we got there in the end, I think. Were there any questions or anything that anyone wanted to put in the chat that I perhaps haven't covered off?
Hey, Katrina, sorry for the delay. I was posting the link that you just had up before it went away in the chat group. So if anyone wants to click on the link, please feel free. Now, we have had a question come through. Are the real estates on board with giving preference to professionals looking for houses?
Okay, that's a really interesting one. Yes and no. We work really hard to develop relationships with estate agents. So to give you an example, I literally met with 4 different agencies yesterday in another area because we've expanded our program. I sat with the directors of each of the agencies. They got it. So while they can't be seen to be showing preferential treatment, it makes perfect sense if they have someone with one of these professions staying in their houses. So I'd like to say yes. But it has taken us quite a while to get to that point, if I'm honest. And it's really great that Fiona has been working in economic development for quite a while, so she already has these established relationships. But please send them our way if you are having any issues. What we've found previously is they're like, Katrina, I'm having a lot of trouble. You know, we've got an existing staff member who's about to leave town because the landlord wants to move back in, and we can't find them anything. They're getting rejected. Can you please help? So I've stepped in, called on my contacts, and yeah, because it's all very well trying to welcome people here, but I also don't want to lose the ones that we have. And so I go and I explain that to agencies. So it is a delicate relationship that we are working hard to build, but by and large, they do understand, which is great.
Okay, great question. We've had another one. Just thanking both of you for all the great information, because it was really informative. And like you said, this service needs to get out there, and the more that we can spread the word, the better it is for anyone. And Fiona, just wanted to see as well if you wanted to add anything at the end as well.
Well, I think Katrina's done a fabulous job there of giving out, sort of a really good overview of the program. I think, again, just wanted to sort of highlight a really easy way is if we are able to put a couple of lines into job adverts and or into letters of offer, things like that. Basically, just saying relocation assistance available or relocation support. Literally a sentence about it and a link to the website. So from people who are possibly recruiting, having awareness of the program and potentially sort of putting something like that into job ads or letters of offer, that is probably the biggest buy-in that we need from you guys. So it can be as simple as that, and about just knowing that there is that support there. I think the partner support is also really key. I know here in Moree Plains we get quite a lot of people who particularly GPs will come and do locum work here and things like that, and will often bring a partner with them and things like that. So I think that now we're able to offer that sort of assistance to find them either meaningful work here or find them a community. Like we have a beautiful co-working space where people can rent a hot desk, or they can rent an office, but still feel like part of a community and still be in a sort of a work environment, and be able to build that sort of that support, so they can technically, if they are working metro, they can sort of continue that employment, but actually still be genuinely part of our community, start getting integrated, start to make links. I think the key thing is here, we're not here to be people's sort of best friends. We're here to literally integrate them and help them make a connection. So I speak for, I would say most of the majority of the connectors here are all really good listeners. We just want to hear the individual story, where can we help them, what can we do, and then we'll do the rest in the background and think, oh, this person, okay, they've got kids, what are they into? Are they into sport? Are they into music or dance? Where do they want to be? And just provide those connections so that they can then, that individual can find their people in the community. That's the key thing, and that's what keeps people out here in our beautiful regional towns. There's a huge amount of opportunity out here. I know sort of certainly up this way, which is sort of Hunter, New England, there's a lot of hospital upgrades happening, and a lot of funding being put into sort of developing and more equipment here and things like that. So that's sort of that the loss of skill fear, that I think, as Katrina mentioned, might be a challenge as well. Hopefully there's a lot being put in to try and alleviate that. And actually, if there are medical professionals who are coming here, as Katrina said, they have to wear many hats. And actually, for us here, a lot of our GPs also specialise in other other sectors, so obstetrics or anaesthetic, etc., things like that. So there is even that sort of that opportunity to skill further. And you can make a difference out here rurally. You really can. You're not just a number. You're not just coming and finish your shift, walking away. Like, you're coming here and you're genuinely changing lives, and I think that's something really key, to try and bring people out here. nothing else from me, ladies. If unless there's any other questions.
I was just going to say, and finally, if my horrendous start to this presentation doesn't show how real we are, we're not bots. We are as organic as the next person, and therefore our responses are going to be as honest and genuine as well. So yeah, it's a great service. They get to speak and meet real people, and we're here to help make their lives easier.
And it's the same person, as you've touched on before. It's the same person. So,
they might not want me after this, Fiona.
I know. I was just going to say, they might not want us, Katrina. They might not want us anymore.
No.
But
Oh my God,
not speaking to a new person every time. It is
I could die.
To us.
Oh my gosh, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but I'm owning it. So look, as I'm not doing anything with IT or anything with my job, so everyone's going to be fine with me. I promise them that.
Great with the connections. People
But thank you so much.
It was amazing.
Thanks,
and again,
Sydney.
thank you both for the incredible information. And again, please go to the website, pass on the information that you learned today. And thank you both, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Cheers, everyone, for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.